Hi, this is Mel. I hope all of you are doing awesome. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. And this is a story I'm going to do today. I wrote it for the Christmas and I was busy, so I could not post this video. So I'm just doing day after Christmas, a very special Christmas. The name of the story written by me. Every year Mary had family members, usually her son and daughter, coming to visit her, and they celebrated the Christmas together. It was usually a very nice, wonderful Christmas with three of them and their family members. So Mary and her son and her daughter and their family. But unfortunately, this year, Mary's son and daughter, they both went family vacation to overseas, and they did ask Mary, but Mary didn't want to go because she just doesn't like traveling long overseas travel on the plane. Actually, just doing a little bit short distance hard for her. She's just a homebody. She doesn't like to travel far away. Anyway, so she said no, she'd rather stay home. Now, Mary's neighbor, she knew Mary's gonna be alone for the Christmas, so she invited Mary over in her home. And Mary refused that one too because she just didn't want to go to neighbor's house. Well, they had all their family members, and she just didn't want to feel like the outsider, and also it would have reminded her of her not having her family members this year. So on the Christmas day of the Christmas, she woke up from her sleep, and then she decided this is gonna have a different kind of Christmas, a different than what she had all these years. So first thing she did and went for a walk. Even it was Christmas, but it was really beautiful. And you know, it was beautiful, like weirdly beautiful, because it was Christmas, but it was 70 degrees outside. So she went for a walk and she saw all the neighbors' houses, all decoration. And this year, since the children weren't gonna come, and they are the one who decorated, so Mary really didn't decorate. She just had the Christmas tree and decoration, but she didn't decorate the entire house or everything. So she went to the neighbors' houses to see, as she went for her morning usual walk. And on the way, she got to tell everybody Merry Christmas, which was so wonderful. So she took her beautiful walk and had her Christmas morning coffee. And while coming back from Starbucks, she saw a few homeless people standing. So she handed all of them coffee. Well, she carried about 4 coffees, as much as she could carry in her hand while walking. So she handed them. And then she took her shower, came home, took her shower, got dressed, and went to a homeless center where they donated food, like sandwiches, water, all kinds of dry food which they can keep, non-perishable food, and then gave them blankets. So many people came, stood in long lines. So she did that, and after they're done, they had all together some meal, whatever was done there. And then for the evening, she went around the neighborhood. She that time she took her car and she went to a sandwich store which was in the neighborhood, and she called them and told them for a special order in which they were doing that day. Surprisingly, that store would take just special order, so store wasn't open for anybody to just walk in. It took the special order on special events. So Mary ordered plenty of sandwiches, and then she picked up some hot chocolate. So they made the hot chocolate and sandwiches and some blankets she bought previously. And she took her car and she went around the neighborhood, and wherever she saw homeless people, she handed them a pack of hot sandwich, and a pack of hot chocolate and a blanket. And she went around, and luckily the weather was really cooperating. Even there at the nightfall late, around 5, 6, 7, it was still hovering to 60 degrees. So it was not bad. So she did that, and around 8 o'clock, while she was coming, she knew this lady in the neighborhood who used to live alone, and she's been living alone for years, and everybody talked about her that she never goes anywhere or calls anybody and lives alone. But Mary did go by a few times to her house to see if she needed anything, and few times she did run some errands for her and just got her groceries and things like that nature. Took her for the doctor's visit, things like that. So Mary got some sandwich and some hot chocolate, and she actually got some hot meal and for her and the lady. So she came home and packed up all those and put it in a beautiful basket, and she even had a beautiful gift for her. And then she went to that old lady's house, and she knocked, and that old lady's name was Mrs. Jonas. So she's called, Mrs. Jonas, are you home? It's a little late though, but I'm wondering if you're still awake. And then she was awake. She was watching TV. She opened the door, and then Mary entered, and she was very happy to see Mary though. So then they sat down, and Mary took all the things on the table, and they all sat down and ate. She enjoyed the beautiful warm sandwiches, hot chocolate, and Mary also gave her a gift as a warm blanket. And then she took some beautiful pictures for her as a gift. She liked pictures of dogs and cats, so she took some pictures because it wasn't easy for her to look at a real one, have a real one. But Mary had a wonderful gift for her, and this was like a puppy doll which would bark, and then if you put a leash on the dog and pull it, it will bark and walk. So it's a beautiful puppy dog to give companionship, and it was kind of special kind of dog. If it heard the footstep in the door, it will bark. So basically like an AI dog, something like that. So Mary bought that for Mrs. Jones, and then she gave it to her. Mrs. Jones was so happy. So now she has companion. As she pet the dog would bark and swing the tail. Even though it was sort of like a dog, like a toy, but it wasn't a toy. It was an AI dog toy with some special technology. But anyway, it kind of made Mrs. Jonas very happy because now she has somebody. And Then it has many other features, like in time of need, some emergency, it can sense emergency, and it has stored phone numbers, emergency contact, and it will automatically dial those emergency numbers. So it has some capability to dial emergency numbers in case of it senses emergency, and then it will do the same for break-in, and it will also bark if it hears somebody coming at the door, and it will sit next to the owner and swing its tail and just sleep next to the owner and sit and cuddle. So yeah, it was a special dog, but it was fluffy, furry too. It's not like a robotic dog, but still it was a mixture. Anyway, so Mrs. Jonas was very happy, and then after it was they together decided to watch a movie. So they watched It's a Wonderful World, that movie again, and then by then was like time for Mrs. Jonas' bed, but she still stayed late because she says she always stays late being alone. But she doesn't like to bother anybody, and she's a little bit shy, so she doesn't actually go calling anybody. But she was very happy that Mary took the initiative to come to her and did all this effort to bring food, gift, and a wonderful gift of this AI dog, which is like a most helpful for Mrs. Jonas in her situation. So Mary had a wonderful time. She thanked Mrs. Jonas, and then she went home. And as she sat under her Christmas tree, she said, "Oh, thank you, Santa, for giving me the most wonderful Christmas. It was different, but it was a very special Christmas that I will remember. Next year, my son and daughter will come for Christmas. But what I did this year will be really memorable, which I never did." So it was a story written by me, of course, but not from my imagination. It was a true story about a friend, but the AI doll could be the future dog or doll, whatever, could be the future dog or doll which will be able to help people or something. So that was the imagination about the AI dog. Well, they already have it in China, but I thought someone like Mrs. Jones could use that. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you with many, many more. Merry Christmas, everyone, and a very, very, very happy New Year. And let's just hope and pray that God helps me to bring more videos this year, maybe, because everything depends on God. We can make all the promises to ourselves or anybody else, but at the end of the day, God is the one who makes the decision whether we're able to do it or not, because we do have other responsibilities. So depending on that. So thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Good night. Sweet dreams.